Good afternoon, everyone. American Sports Connection. I am your host, the one and only Joey Railroads. I am here today with a very special guest. We have on the show today CZW's barely legal Jimmy. How you doing today?
How you doing?
I'm doing well. Just trying to take it easy, man.
Yeah.
Now, what I always wondered was, when I was a kid, I was a big wrestling fan. It started for me at WrestleMania 5 when they had it in Atlantic City with Hogan and Savage. And I got hooked. I'm dating myself when Earthquake attacked Hulk Hogan and they thought he was going to retire around 1990. My question is, were you a fan growing up? And if you were, what was the thing that got you really into wrestling?
Well, before I seen WWE and stuff, my cousin was actually babysitting me, and then he wanted to go to a show because it was in the afternoon, and it was actually a CZW show. And he took me to that show, and I just thought it was craziness, and ever since I loved it.
Hell yeah, it is. It is craziness.
Yeah, especially like one of the first matches I think of the show was a no rope barbed wire match on the show.
Oh wow! And how old were you at the time?
I was 2 actually, because it was like a 2:00 show or something, and it was outside. It was in Sewell, New Jersey, and that's 10-15 minutes from where I live. And he was a big CZW fan, and he didn't want to miss the show, so he had to babysit me that day. So I guess he figured, hey, I'll bring him with me.
Hey, why not, right? And it all started from there?
Yeah.
That's crazy when you think about it.
Yeah, but before I even started watching WWE and stuff, it took me a while because I fell in love with it that day, and I just started I went back to CZW, then I learned about Ring of Honor about a year later, and then I found out about Jersey All Pro, and then I just started going to those 3 companies, and then finally I seen wrestling on TV. I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah, go figure. You did it the opposite way, because usually it's people find out about wrestling through watching WWE on television. Because when I was that young, it was every Saturday morning they had Wrestling Challenge and WWE Superstars on back to back.
Yeah.
So Jason Green says in the chat room that you have a bright future.
Nice.
And he said you were probably 2 years old hitting kids with barbed wire bats. I
did some backyard wrestling.
I think we all did at one point. Now you went to the CZW dojo to get trained. Now you were trained by Drew Gulak, right? Yeah,
but actually before that, I didn't actually start at at CZW.
Okay.
I started at a place called Old Time Wrestling.
Okay.
I still wrestle in their shows. That's where On Point runs.
Yes.
I started training there in 2012 at 14 years old.
Okay.
Yeah, so then after that I really love CZW. They asked me my first day, they were like, what's your goals in wrestling? Where do you want to be? And I said, I want to be in CZW.
Right.
And then, literally how I got into CZW, I was training for maybe about 3 years at the point, and I was already working matches there. And I went to an indie show in New York because it was, because I just wanted to go with my friend and have some fun, watch some wrestling. And a CZW fan, Matt Kanellis, was at that show. And he's a hard, loyal CZW fan, always in the front row every month. And DJ High was over there selling his merchandise, and he brought me up to DJ and was like, hey, this kid wrestles. And DJ was like, oh yeah, well, come over to the academy. So that Thursday, I went to the CZW Academy, started training there, and never stopped.
Yeah, I was going to say, what was your experience like training at the dojo?
It was awesome because where OTW is more of a basic program, they teach you the fundamentals and they teach you a little bit more advanced stuff, but CZW really goes into detail with the Lucha Libre, the Japanese stuff, so it was way more advanced, and I got to learn more of the different styles, which was actually really cool.
Right, I can understand that. Now, you just recently, within the last, I'll say, month or so, you wrestled the Bulldozer, Matt Tremont, at Dojo Wars, and then last week at Dojo Wars 100, you wrestled Schlack in a death match. I mean, what were those two experiences like? That has to be like crazy.
Well, wrestling that originally I was supposed to wrestle B-Boy. B-Boy couldn't make it, so then I ended up wrestling Matt Tremont, a guy that like I look up to, because I would like to be the next guy, the next big deathmatch star, as Matt Tremont is now. He's done everything in his business, and I love Matt. He taught me so much in this business. So to get into the ring with Matt Tremont was really an honor. It was just crazy. And then Cannonball couldn't make it due to a death in the family, which is very sad.
Yeah.
So they needed someone to step up, and I was there, and I was like, I'm willing to step up. Emil hit me up. He was like, hey, you willing to do this? And I was like, he was like, think about it and get back to me. And I literally messaged him back 1 minute later and says, I'm down.
That was a great match.
Yeah.
But I mean, that was probably a really cool experience because of it being such a special show with Dojo Wars 100 and it being like standing room only.
Yeah, it was great to see how many people came out for that show.
Oh yeah, because Emil and a lot of us online were hyping that show up for weeks.
Yeah, it was really great to see how many people came out that supported a show like that. Like, it was crazy to see. Like, the atmosphere of that building was just insane.
Yeah, it was a really hot crowd that night.
Yeah, it was.
Now, what actually attracted you to death matches and deathmatch wrestling? Was it CZW?
Yeah, it was. The guys like Sicknick Mondo getting hit with weed whackers and going off roofs. Zandig getting hung by meat hooks and just like all this craziness. I actually, when I first started going to CZW, I didn't really care about the wrestling. I just was going to see people get fucked up and like start bleeding and stuff. Like, I didn't care about the wrestling. But then later, like flips and stuff didn't attract me at first. But then when I started growing up, I was like, oh, that's cool too. And then I really started appreciating wrestling too.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Where it was like you kind of got the taste of the deathmatch stuff first, but as you got older, you kind of
liked wrestling.
Yeah, you learned like everything, so to speak.
Yeah, because like I feel like as a kid, that's just so cool to you to see people like bleed and do all this crazy stuff. But then when you get older and you see like the ability some of these guys have, like, it's crazy. Like, some of the flips these guys do, that's another part that like gets me to like mark out.
Yeah, well, what happened with me, I understand what you're saying because I grew up as a teenager into an adult into when ECW was really big and like from 93 to like 2001. So we would always get it on local access here in Jersey. And it was just like, this shit is like the coolest thing I've ever seen because it was just over the top violence. And
yeah, ECW was cool.
Yeah, and I just think at that age, it interests you more because you're still like younger, as you were saying, you know?
Yeah. From ECW, like, I really like I like that they did like stuff that was like controversial. Because in wrestling, I feel like work shoots are like always like the thing that gets over, like when Raven hung Sandman and like crucified him and stuff. Like, that stuff's like insane. Like that's the kind of stuff I like.
Yeah, well, I don't know if you know this. Kurt Angle was on that show, and
I heard about that.
Yeah, and he basically said that if you put me on that video, I'm gonna sue you. Because he didn't want to be like associated with it because it was just so over the top.
Yeah,
now,
but I understand where he comes from, but it's
whatever.
Work. It's
now, your first main card CZW show was last month at Tangled Web in that 4-way with Blackwater, Frankie, and Big Scare, Dan O'Hare. How cool was that to be on the main card because you've been used to just being at the dojo?
Would you say, how does it feel to be on the main card?
Yeah, because it was like your first time on the card.
It was crazy. I actually, found out, right before Down with the Sickness, I found out DJ came up to me and Frankie Picard and was like, hey, you two guys are going to be in a Fatal 4-Way match because you guys been busting your ass, killing it at Dojo Wars and deserve an opportunity. But we didn't know who the other two guys were at first, and we were just going, hey, Dan O'Hare's been busting his ass. Blackwater's been busting their ass. They deserve an opportunity, too. And it just turned out to be that 4-way, which was really crazy just to be wrestling on CZW, because that was always my dream and, the only place I ever wanted to wrestle.
Yeah, well, and it was a really good match, and when I watched it, the crowd was really behind you.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Which was probably, like a dream come true for you since you've always wanted to wrestle, on the main card, and then the fans are, totally behind you in the 4-way.
Yeah. I was a part of the crowd. I was always one of them. So I think that was, what made them excited to see me out there.
Yeah, that could very well be true because they might have remembered you and kind of saw you grow up through CZW.
Plus, and also some of the fans that didn't see me in the crowd, because there's a lot of newbies in the crowd that aren't like the old CZW guys that just found out about CZW, and they've been seeing me kill it at Dojo Wars, and they're like, oh, this guy's good. Let me cheer for him. And then also maybe it was someone's first CZW show and everybody else is cheering for him. And they're like, oh, let me cheer for this guy too.
Yeah, because I've only been going since May or June I started going to the dojo.
Nice.
Because
my friend... How'd you find out about it?
Yeah, because my buddy they see me come with every week, Jason, he wanted to go and told me about it. So I bring my son with me every week if it's not super violent. And he gets really into it. So now it's an every week thing that we go.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But what I wanted to ask you about is you have an upcoming match again on the main card at Night of Infamy with Frankie Picard, who is the Medal of Valor champion at Dojo Wars. Any thoughts on your match with him this Saturday?
Well, now it's more okay, they seen us go out there in a 4-way. They were excited to see us, but now we have to show them what we can do. It's going to be a lot more work because instead of 4 people, it's just me and Frankie.
Yeah.
So we really got to show them what we're all about. We just got to go balls to the wall, all out crazy, and just go insane, go CZW style.
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm expecting that match to be, probably the best match on the card or damn near close to it.
Thank you.
Because I've seen what you can do if you wrestle the deathmatch style, but then I've also seen what you can do if you just straight wrestle, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could do either way.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of the people are going to, if they don't know Jimmy Lloyd or Frankie Picard, your casual CZW fan from the internet or people that don't know us are going to be like, who are these jabrones?
Yeah, who the fuck is this guy?
This is going to fucking suck. Yeah. But they can think what they want, but I'm just hoping I get changed their opinion come Saturday.
Yeah, that's all you do, man, is you could just do your best. And I wanted to tell you this personally. I think since I've been going to the dojo in the last 6 months, you're probably the most improved guy I've seen that's wrestled there every week.
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. Go ahead.
The way I put my matches, like, I think, okay, what would I want to see when I was in the crowd? What would I want to see? Because I know if I liked it, the other people will like it. Like, I feel like a lot of people get into the mind frame of, oh, I got to do this, 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 and this, instead of being creative and just being like, what does a wrestling fan want to see?
Yeah, I know what you mean, where guys just pigeonhole themselves.
Yeah.
And it's just like, they don't, well, we'll just stick with this as opposed to trying something different.
Yeah.
Now, I've always wondered, because I'm not a huge deathmatch person. I mean, like, I'll watch, like, say, one or so, but I respect all the dudes that do it, because you have to be a tough fucking guy to do it.
Yeah.
But is there, like, a different mindset to doing death matches as opposed to just going, like, having a regular match like you had last night with Kefka? Like, do you have to be in a different, like, mind zone or whatever you want to call it?
Mindset, but you just know, you go into the match and you're like, yeah, there's a possibility I get fucked up, or, like, I'm going to bleed to death. Like, especially with bleeding, you don't know how much you're going to bleed. And then depending on what weapons are in there, like, if there's, like, light tubes, you don't know how they're going to cut you. They could cut you anyway. And, like, Nick Gage literally died at Tournament of Death 8.
I remember that.
Light tubes. So it just shows you how unpredictable this style is.
Yeah, because I always just wondered if there was a different way you would go into those types of matches as opposed to just putting together a regular match.
What were you saying?
I said I always wondered if there was a different way you would go into those types of matches as opposed to putting together a regular match.
Well, basically, just like see what kind of gimmicks are there, see what we have. Yeah, okay, you could do this to me, and then basically, like, it's kind of the same. You just incorporate the gimmicks, but some guys, like, they'll just do, like, bash stuff over each other's head instead of actually working the match. Yeah. But the guys that can wrestle will actually put together a pretty good death match.
Yeah, I know what you mean, because I've seen some of Traymon's stuff, and he can incorporate it in an actual match without it just being violence for the sake of violence.
Yeah, like, Tremont, like, I feel like he's so underrated. Like, he wrestles, like, I seen him wrestle at Beyond Wrestling. Guys like Chris Hero, AR Fox, him and AR Fox, like, almost stole the show at American Run at Beyond Wrestling. Like, he can literally work his ass off. He doesn't have to bleed, but he does because he loves deathmatch wrestling and loves CZW.
You mentioned AR Fox. He's another super underrated guy. I watched him when you were at Hybrid in October when he wrestled Zack Sabre Jr., and that was just phenomenal.
Yeah, it was. Like, yeah, AR Fox is doing some pretty big things with some Lucha Underground, but he should totally be more places than where he's at.
Oh, yeah, when I watched him, I was like, this guy's amazing.
Yeah, he's like a top guy, I would say, but he could even be more than what he is.
Yeah, see, maybe it's just because I'm not super familiar, because that was the first time I'd actually seen him work, but I was just like, this guy is, like, super talented. He should be, like, everywhere. Have you seen his
stuff in CZW?
No, I never saw him in CZW.
Oh, okay. That's where he actually started.
Oh, okay. Well, that's cool.
Well, he started in Atlanta, but DJ was the first one to give him, like, an opportunity, and he just went out there and crushed it, and then just kept on coming back.
I've seen, like, clips of him online, like, when he fought Tremont, and, like, Tremont, like, side suplexed him, like, 15 feet in the air.
Yeah.
You know, stuff like that. And I was just like, that's just crazy.
Yeah. He did a death match. He was in Cage of Death.
Was he
like,
really?
I feel like, because a lot of people go and watch, like, CZW or, like, deathmatch wrestling, go, oh, this isn't wrestling, this is garbage. But some of the top dudes, some of the best wrestlers in the world done it. Like, guys from WWE, as in, like, Dean Ambrose, known as Jon Moxley. Guys like Biff Busick.
Yeah, who was on SmackDown this week.
Yeah, like, they were in the Cage of Death. They done no barbed wire matches. They've been in that style of a match. They've been in CZW.
Now, I always wondered, as a CZW guy, how cool is it to see, like, I think it might be 10 or more guys that have come through CZW that are in WWE right now.
What happened?
I said, I think there's 10 guys in WWE right now that have gone through CZW.
Yeah.
There's
a lot.
That's just crazy to think about. I mean, you guys are really, like, making a program where guys can take it to the next level.
Yeah, we really are. CZW's always been one of the top indie companies, I would say, because all the best wrestlers came out of CZW.
Yeah.
Doing big stuff in Japan, Ring of Honor. He first trained at CZW. He was a CZW guy. Sammy Callahan, another top indie guy. He didn't start in CZW, but that's where he made his name at CZW. Yeah. Like, CZW is like the biggest platform in wrestling, say. Because that's where
at one point, Jon Moxley, Dean Ambrose, was basically the king of wrestling because he was the world champion in WWE.
Yeah. And he was a CZW world champion, which is crazy. A guy that was a CZW world champion in Tournament of Death is now the main guy in wrestling.
I know. It was just crazy to wrap your head around that.
Yeah.
All right, Jason Green in our chat room wants to know if you're a fan of the tweener.
Yeah, I'm a fan of the tweener, which is actually funny because, like, when he first started doing the gimmick, he was doing, like, all my moves, and I was just like, I was like, damn, I guess I'm a tweener too.
Max is a great dude.
Yeah, he's cool.
We had him on a couple weeks ago. He's a funny dude.
I actually listened a little bit to the interview.
Yeah, he had me cracking up. Now,
yeah,
I wanted to ask you, is there a favorite opponent of yours that you've had to this point?
I don't know about a favorite opponent. I have people I like to wrestle, though.
Okay,
Frankie Picard is one of them. Frankie Picard is one of them. I really enjoyed my match with Max. Even though I wrestled him once, I really enjoyed my match with Maxwell Jacob Feinstein at Dojo Wars 95.
Yes, that was a really good match.
Yeah.
And he's a pretty good worker for, and I hate to use this term, for like a smaller guy.
Yeah. He has like that WWE look to him, though.
That too, yeah.
He looks like the guy, like, I have a feeling you're going to see a lot of him in the next few years. Like, I feel like he's going to go to the top of it, indie wrestling. Because on that night, like, he doesn't work that indie style, per se. But on that night, he brought it.
Yeah, the other guy I always say I thought had the look that comes to Dojo Wars, and you'll see him a lot more than you do now, even though he's already out there, is Mike Orlando.
Yeah, Mike Orlando.
Like, he just has that look.
He does.
The major companies like.
When I started training at OCW, he was actually there, so I've been with Mike Orlando since, like, day one.
Oh, well, that's cool.
Yeah.
All right, Jason Green is saying in our chat that he wants to see you fight DJ Hyde.
Oh, I want to wrestle DJ, too. I really want to wrestle DJ in a death match. I think that would be fun.
Well, we thought you were wrestling him last night because online when I was scrolling through Facebook before I left to come to the show, it just said that DJ was fighting Jimmy, and it didn't say the last name. So I was like, oh my God, Jimmy's fighting DJ tonight. But it was the other Jimmy.
Chondo, yeah.
And I
Jimmy
was
Lyons.
like, dang. Because I thought that would have been a really fun match, you and DJ.
Yeah, it would have been. I'm pretty sure down the road I'll eventually get in the ring with DJ.
Well, yeah, I mean, how long have you been working now, professionally?
2.5 years.
Okay. Yeah, so you still got plenty of time.
Yeah.
Hey,
Yep.
Jason Green said he definitely wants to see you guys in a death match. You and DJ.
Tell DJ Wednesday that you want to see him wrestle me in a death match.
Yeah, we'll tag him in this interview when it's done. I'll tag him on Twitter.
Hopefully he listens to it.
Yeah, well, this is the second time because the tweener called him out on this show like not even 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, I know. I heard about that. The clothesline Jesus.
Yeah. That got blown up on Twitter very quickly.
My next big goal in wrestling is I want to do Tournament of Death. I want to do it next year.
This coming year?
Yeah, I'm going to try. That's the only thing I'm focused on in 2017 is getting that spot in Tournament of Death.
Yeah, I figured that the two new people they would have would probably be like you and Schlack.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
Yeah,
that would be awesome, actually.
He's a tough fucking dude too, man.
Yeah. Oh, here's a quick story. Last week, I was asking him. I was like, how does the staple gun feel? And then he comes to the back with the staple gun, and he staples his head. Bam! The staple's in his head, and then he's like, it doesn't fucking hurt. It doesn't fucking tickle. It just feels like, And then he was like, and then he pulls the staple out of his head. He starts bleeding. He's like, fuck! I'm already bleeding. He starts wiping the blood off his face.
That sounds like something he would do. That is hilarious. But yeah, I could totally see Slack doing that.
Yeah.
But that's what I wanted to ask you. When you got your hair caught in the barbed wire, that was a son of a bitch, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. It was it hurt because it's like yanking out of my head.
Hey, you're gonna have to learn to tie your hair back.
Yeah. Yep.
Now, Jason Green wants to know, you're in a match with Janella and Penelope Ford at H2O, right? Like a couple days before Christmas?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I am.
It's you and Maria Manic, right?
Maria Manic, yeah.
That's what I thought.
Mixed tag team match.
Yeah, that should be fun. I think it's cool that he's going to run the dojo.
Yeah, that should be a really fun show.
I know.
If you haven't got your tickets yet, you should, because they're very limited.
Oh, yeah, I saw that. I think he said he had already sold like half the tickets.
Yeah, it's crazy. And it's only been announced for like 3 days.
Tickets, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
So, and yeah, because I check his Facebook from time to time because I'll try to reserve like tickets for OPW because Masters of the Mat's coming up in a few weeks.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm excited to get in there with Joey Janella. I think we're gonna put something crazy together.
Hey, Joey Janella, man, he does some crazy stuff.
Yeah, I think our two crazy minds together is gonna come up with something really crazy and something that the fans will really enjoy.
Yeah, I think so too, because he's really getting his name out there too now.
Yeah, and I feel like this isn't gonna. I feel like very shortly we're gonna see a Joey Janela, Jimmy Lloyd singles one-on-one match.
Oh, that would be great.
Yeah, I feel like that's gonna happen sooner rather than later.
Is there a dream match you want that you haven't mentioned yet, like of people you'd like to wrestle?
I have three. Two of them are kind of realistic, and the other one is a might happen, and the other. So I have four, and the other one's probably never going to happen. So my number one's John Zandig.
That's possible.
Yeah, that's might be possible. These are the two realistic ones, though. Sammy Callahan and Nick Gage.
Oh, yeah, Nick Gage is possible because he just got out recently.
Yeah, and then the other one is Sick Nick Mondo, which will probably never happen. But never say never. Who knows in professional
wrestling. He doesn't
wrestling.
wrestle anymore, does he?
No, but you never know in pro wrestling.
Oh, no, that's true. I agree. Yeah, you never know. Because a guy will say he's retired, and then he retires like 5 times. Look at Terry Funk.
Yeah.
Because he just, quote-unquote, retired again at the House of Hardcore show in Philly.
Yeah, he did.
But like you said, you never really know.
Yeah, I feel like Terry Funk probably is done by right now.
I know, but I just, like you said, he's probably retired like 5 times.
Yeah, yes.
Now, for everyone that's listening to this show, how can the fans contact you through social media if they want to yell?
My Facebook is just Jimmy Lloyd. Just look it up. Twitter is @JimmyLloyd9. That's really it.
Hey, you're keeping it simple.
Yep.
Because I know usually I'll have different people and they're like, oh yeah, I got like a Facebook, a Twitter, an Instagram, a this, a that. I'm like, holy crap. I'm just like, I guess I'm old school. I just have Facebook and Twitter and that's enough for me.
Yep. Don't need to go into all that.
Yeah, well, it just takes up too much damn time.
Yeah.
All right, everybody, we're going to get out of here for today. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, thumbs up, all that good stuff. And we will see you back next time. Have a good day, everybody.